What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Technique Tuesday. We got a good one for you. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by DraftKings. A little bit more on that later. Sweet Tea, we got a great card this weekend, UFC 259, and one of those being one of my favorite fighters, Izzy Adesanya versus
Jan Blachowicz for the 205 belt, giving Israel Adesanya the chance to become the next champ.
It's going to be great. So let's get into it, guys. What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? This video is sponsored by DraftKings. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Wonderboy when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch on Saturday. That's code Wonderboy for new customers to turn $1 into $100 if either fighter lands a punch for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. UFC 259 is going down this Saturday with 3 title fights on the line. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, is putting new customers in the center of this weekend's title fight with 100-to-1 odds on either fighter to land a punch during the fight. Just pick either main event fighter to land a punch during this weekend's fight at UFC 259. And DraftKings Sportsbook will give new customers 100-to-1 odds. Just bet $1 on either main event fighter to land a punch during UFC 259 and you'll cash $100. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. For this video, I'll talk about the main event, but for co-main, I'm going for Megan Anderson, and for the 135-pound belt, I'm going for Aljamain Sterling. So again, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Wonderboy when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch on Saturday. That's code Wonderboy for new customers to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't worry, if MMA isn't for you, DraftKings Sportsbook offers great odds and promotions on basketball, hockey, and so much more. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, so UFC 259. We'll talk about the main event because obviously he's one of my favorite fighters, Izzy Adesanya, fellow, as you said, striker, and anime fan.
It's the title fight on the card with the biggest implications, right? You have Jan Blachowicz, who has been crushing dudes, the Polish power, as they say. He has the opportunity to upset arguably the biggest star in the UFC. Obviously, we have Masvidal and, of course, McGregor still on that line. To end the undefeated reign and retain the 205-pound belt. Or, on the flip side, Israel Adesanya being the smaller guy, and I said that with air quotes. We'll talk about that in just a second. Chance to come up to 205 pounds and fight for the 205 belt, becoming the next champ. 185, 205. So huge fight, huge
fight, man. And potential to be one of the greatest fights of the year right off the bat.
So before we get into specifically how Izzy can win the fight, let's talk about each fighter. Really? Okay. So Israel Adesanya, what does he bring to the table?
Number one, he's got the reach advantage.
Slight I believe it's about advantage. 2 inches, yeah, which can be a lot when you're somebody who knows how to manage the distance and use the reach.
Agreed. I think he's a very calm fighter, and I think he's the better counter striker of the two, probably one of the best counter strikers in the UFC. You've seen it time and time again when he fought Robert Whittaker. His last opponent, which is a big opponent as well, Costa, he knocked him out with some great counter strikes. He's very good at putting himself in that ultra instinct state whenever he's out there. So he kind of gets in the flow of things, and he feels great. He's just this intelligent guy when he's out there. He's very smart. Very rarely does he put himself in bad situations. His takedown defense and his clinch work is very, very good.
So moving on to Jan Blachowicz, what does he bring to the table? Well, he brings apparent size, and size not necessarily length. Izzy's actually the taller fighter with the longer reach, but Blachowicz has been carrying around that heavier weight for longer.
Yes.
He is naturally a larger, thicker, heavier person, which also brings possibly more strength, more power to his strikes as he throws them. which is kind of what he's known for, that Polish power, so he has that.
Yeah, he just swings for the fence. He's got a little more body behind his punches.
Jan seems to be the bigger guy, but he's also intelligent. He's also a smart fighter. He's super experienced, and he just took out Dominic Reyes, who was a tall, long fighter as well.
Also a good counter striker.
Also a good counter striker, powerful guy. So is his power, is his size going to be enough to thwart Izzy's intelligence and his range? WB?
That is the question.
That is the question.
Let's break it down.
Let's talk about it. Israel Adesanya, his key. What does he have to do to keep Jan Blachowicz at bay, to keep his Polish power from reaching the chin piece?
So Izzy Adesanya, yes, he's the taller guy. He's going to have to keep his opponent at bay, not let him close the gap, slow him down, and one of the best ways to do that, which he's very good at doing this, leg kicks.
Leg kicks number one. Right off the bat. You got to keep pumping it. Very similar to the Costa fight. Destroyed the front leg. Costa couldn't do nothing after that.
Right.
Led to the KO. So how does he take out the front leg?
All right, so Jan Blachowicz likes to keep his left foot in front because he likes to use that right hand. Izzy Adesanya, for the most part, likes his left foot in front, so they're in a closed stance, which makes it good for back leg outside calf kicks. Number one, Izzy likes to keep it long. He likes to keep his arms out like so. And normally everybody has kind of like this force field around them. The farther out your body is, your opponent, not knowing, kind of keeps that same distance. If I keep my hands in tight, your opponent can get closer. If I keep him out long, obviously he's going to stay that same amount of distance from the farthest part of my body out there. So he's going to keep his distance here, which is going to enable Izzy Adesanya to land those low calf kicks and strike the legs. That's going to be key to this game, to his game plan. Wear him down so he's not able to close the gap very fast.
So what's number two?
Number two, trying to get Jan Blachowicz to reach. And how does he do that? Feints. He's got to feint him like crazy. So back in your closed stance, number one, he's kept him at bay, slowed him down a little bit with the low calf kicks, you know what I'm saying? Now the next thing is the distance management. Making sure he doesn't get too close, but the feints are key. To get this guy to react and to bring him out of his comfort zone, bring him out of position. A lot of guys, when they get frustrated, they're getting pieced up on the leg, they feel like they have to hit you, so that's when they start leaning out, trying to hit you, and that's where Izzy Adesanya's gone to land his counter strikes. So if you were Jan Blachowicz and I'm Izzy, I'm gonna loosen you up with the low calf kicks, right? Right off the bat in the first round. Boom! That's like gonna be my main focus, and of course to stay away from this right hand. So piecing you up with the low calf kicks, the low leg kicks, the straight in oblique, or what do they call it?
Knee probe.
Knee probe to keep him at bay. Number two, the feints. All right, get you to react, get you to swing, and that's where the counter strikes happen. So number three key to victory for Izzy Adesanya is his framing and his Muay Thai experience, his kickboxing experience. As of right now, in the fight, in the beginning, his first line of defense is going to be his hands, is going to be his leg kicks, and he's keeping it long. Now, if he gets past his first line of defense, which I think he's probably going to try and do, close the gap, Izzy Adesanya is going to use his framing ability, which is very, very good at it. You saw him when he fought Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson tried to close the gap. Izzy Adesanya framed up, changed the angle, and was able to counter-strike him. So if you get past my first line of defense, I've got my frames here. This is where Izzy Adesanya's kickboxing experience is going to play a good part. He's got his knees, he can angle off, and then counter-strike off of those angles. So framing is going to be his third line of defense, and three key to make this fight win. Because if Blachowicz can't close the gap on him, what's he going to do? How is he going to be able to use his size?
Yes, and then framing, I guess you can also couple that in with takedown defense as well. You got to have good framing, which helps to negate the takedowns as well.
And that's something that, out of experience, that I had to get really, really good at if I wanted to keep the fight standing. Because my first line of defense, pretty much the same way. If they get too close to get past that first line of defense, I got to frame up. And on top of that, staying protected while I'm framing. So keeping my hands up, keeping those frames in, and circle off to the side so I can strike. Or throw knees.
Yeah, which Adesanya has preferably not knees directly to elbows.
Yeah, don't do that.
But Adesanya definitely has the experience in all of those situations. His coaches, right? It's almost like, Blachowicz is the bigger, stronger guy. He has the power. But Adesanya's style is kind of tailor-made to beating somebody like Blachowicz.
I agree.
Who doesn't bring necessarily like a heavy wrestling background, or somebody who can outstrike Adesanya, which is kind of what you need to be able to beat an Adesanya.
Yeah, and I think Adesanya is smart in that he's not gaining any weight for this fight. I think there's a lot of time, if you start gaining weight, putting on more muscle, that you have to get used to throwing that weight around for 5-minute rounds. You've
In
seen
6
that
to 8 weeks, it ain't gonna get you used
It's
to
not
that
going to
weight.
get you there. You've seen that happen when actually Luke Rockhold went up and fought Blachowicz. He slowed down. His strikes slowed down tremendously because he gained a lot of weight. It's almost like in Dragon Ball Z, because when Frieza got bigger, he got slower.
Yep.
You know, kind of the same. Maybe the mindset. Maybe that was his
I bet
inspiration
you
for not gaining
he
weight.
draws that inspiration, yeah, because and even Trunks would just get massively huge and couldn't hit anybody.
Right, because he was too
Because
slow.
he was super strong, but he was so slow. So maybe he's drawing some DBZ inspiration.
DBZ inspiration. So he's going to keep the same weight. It's the way that he feels fast, feels comfortable with. He's used to throwing that around, and yeah, he's gonna take on this giant of a man.
Yep, super powerful guy, and keep him at bay with his strikes. Uses intelligent striking. Now, if I'm Jan Blachowicz and I want to beat Israel Adesanya, then you would obviously say his key is to get into striking range and land those big, heavy shots. But you also mentioned something a little bit earlier where if you're Blachowicz, maybe you don't get in close at first to try and land heavy shots. Maybe you just make him carry your weight. You work to get in close, get him against the cage.
Make it dirty for him. You got to make it dirty. For clean fighters like that, really strategic fighters, guys who are just nice and crisp, you got to make it ugly for them. A little bit of dirty boxing involved.
Yep.
A little bit of just laying on your opponent, making them work. Because you've seen good wrestlers do that for guys in the past. George St. Pierre was very good at it. He was good at taking away good strikers, good counter strikers, taking it all the way from just laying on them.
Laying on him.
You know, laying on them, making them work, making those arms work. Because when they work, you got the blood up in those arms. They get slower. So when you step back out in the middle of the octagon, you can tell those strikes are just a lot slower than they were before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that could be a method he's going for. Maybe he's going to go out there and could be the game plan. Just lay on him, make it dirty. It doesn't, you know, he's looking to win.
Yeah.
He doesn't want this guy coming up from 185 to beat him. That's like his world. So I don't care if he makes it exciting. I think he just wants to go out there and win. So he could possibly go out there and just lay on him.
But then again, if that's your main goal, you still have to get past Adesanya's weapons.
That's true.
You have to get past all of the things that he's good at to get there, kind of like when people fight you. If I were to fight you, I'm like, man, my goal is to take these guys down. I'm getting down. I'm sure that was Derek Brunson's goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this dude down. His wrestling, and nobody's really ever tested it, blah, blah, blah. That whole deal. But you have to get there. And is Adesanya going to let Blachowicz get there? Absolutely not.
No. 100%.
It's not going to be a cakewalk.
That's
for
his
sure.
whole game plan for just about every fight, for whoever he faces. They at some point they're going to look to take him down. Costa tried it. You know what I'm saying? Costa tried to do it, and he's not known for taking his opponents down. So it's very difficult for. I think it's starting to lean a little bit more towards Izzy Adesanya in that he's going to win. He's going to be champ. He has more tools to beat Jan Blachowicz.
So
Yes.
is that who you're saying is going to win this fight this weekend?
I have my man Izzy Adesanya winning this fight.
I do too.
I
I
believe
think
it.
he's got more ways to win, more paths to victory. I think if you're going to beat a guy like Adesanya, then your name is going to have to be John Jones. If it was John Jones and Adesanya fighting for the 205 belt, who knows what this conversation would be like. But again, I think Adesanya takes it with this clean striking, with this super intelligent. But it is MMA. It is
Anything
the
can
fight game. Anything can happen. And if
First
there's
round,
anybody,
bell rings.
if there's
knockout.
anybody in the division with a puncher's chance at winning, it's Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah.
Because that dude brings insane power to his punches. Let us know what you guys think, who you think is going to win, how you think they're going to win in the comments down below.
Let's go, y'all.
Oh, man. And obviously we'll be doing a breakdown of this fight afterwards. The whole thing, I'm pumped. I'm excited about it. Not to
Me
mention
too,
you
man.
have the co-main event, Megan Anderson challenging Amanda Nunes for her belt. Amanda seems like she's unstoppable.
She's co-main. They're co-main.
Their co-main event.
And then co-main.
And then co-main, you have our boy Aljamain Sterling fighting Peter Yan
Woo!
for the bantamweight belt, right? 135.
What a great night of
Huge fight card. So
These are the fights I like to watch. Normally, I don't like to watch, UFC fights because that's what I do on a regular basis, and it puts me there. You know, I feel like I'm getting ready to fight. I get nervous, so I don't like it.
Yep.
But I love these type of fights. You know, 3 title defenses, 3 title fights you got going on, and one of them being one of the best strikers in the UFC. Let's go.
And another one being a really close friend who you've trained with many times up at Law MMA with Chris and those guys.
Aljamain, love you, dog. Go check out his channel, too. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Also, throw some comments down below on who you think is going to win the main event. Is it Adesanya or Jan Blachowicz? We want to know your thoughts. We want to know what you got going on, all right? How many likes do you think we should get?
Let's get 10K likes on this.
10,000 likes.
If we get 10,000 likes,
Tony, what will you do?
I will
What will you do?
shave my beard into a Fu Manchu.
I would love that, though.
10,000 likes, I'm getting
Fu
a Fu
Manchu,
Manchu.
baby. Thank you guys for coming to join us. Catch y'all later.
Peace.